So anyways, Bezrat Hashem, the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh, the Kavod Kislasi, the secrets, the whole thing. It's beautiful. It's a feeling that we just opened up to. So hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had an easy fast. And hope everyone in Camp Stone was good. And let's fire it up right now. B'Shem Kol Yisrael. I feel for Pesach Uven Ben Osef Asar B'Chabas Yehudis. Miriam Dor Bes Chanu Chaved Dor Bas Basa Shir Bas Basa Sainer Uven Ben Manin every Neshama Klal Yisrael. Ribono Shel Olam, let the pathways of the intellect be truly open to us and bring us to attain wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Help us devote ourselves to your Torah in the proper way and give us the ability to clarify Torah law so that in each case we'll come to the right decision. Help us study the law codes. Inspire us with the necessary wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to us to be able to clarify the final decision and distinguish between what is permitted and what is forbidden, what is pure and what is impure, what is valid and what is invalid. This will give us the proper power. This will give us the power to fix and make amends for the damage we have caused in all the worlds through our many sins and transgressions, which cause good and evil to become mixed up. Bezrat Hashem. Chevra, halacha l'maisa. Halacha l'maisa. A house or room does not require mezuzah unless it contains an area of 4 amos by 4 amos. And this will have to go into further explanation to understand how big an amma is and what that really means 4 by 4. If it does not contain a square of 4 amos by 4 amos, but it contains an area that is equivalent to 4 amos by 4 amos, meaning 16 square amos. For example, if its length was greater than its width, or if it were a circular room containing an area equal to 16 square amos, some say that it requires a mezuzah, and some say that it's exempt from this requirement. It's a difficult halacha. We'll have to go into it further. Because lastly, didn't you learn Masechet Sukkah back in the day? Am I making that up?
No, I don't think I learned it.
No. Okay. What you did with Rav?
Baruch?
No. The Rebbe.
Oh, Raman?
Raman. You know, I saw him like 3 months ago. It's crazy.
Where'd you see him?
I saw him at this event that Rav Yair was speaking at, and he was there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like it was crazy. It's crazy seeing him. Yeah,
he's so good.
He's so good. What a holy soul. Anyway, so Sichot 76, Kasasi, we just finished Sichot 75 about the simplicity of davening, and now we're talking about how much Torah should we learn. And now this is going to be a multiple part series, and we'll see what Rabbeinu has to say. We heard that the Rebbe once said he studied all 4 sections of the Shulchan Aruch 3 times, and we're going through the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch right now, Baruch Hashem. The first time Rabbi Nachman went through the Shulchan Aruch, he understood its simple meaning. All right, that's the first time. The second time, he was able to trace the Talmudic source of each law. That's the second time going through the whole Shulchan Aruch. The third time, he understood the Kabbalistic significance of each law and its relationship to the transcendental worlds. And from the way it was told, we understood that the Rebbe did this in his youth. We knew that he later reviewed the Shulchan Aruch many times. Right, so this is crazy, going from simple, right, to the Talmudic source of each law, and then the Kabbalistic significance of each law. It's crazy. That was the third time going through the Shulchan Aruch. This was the Rebbe's way. He literally drank in knowledge. This was true even towards the end of his life, when he suffered greatly from tuberculosis. He was very involved with the congregation. He spent hours with us, offering us advice and teaching us how to approach Hashem. His mind may have been constantly soaring in the highest ethereal realms. Still, he would spend considerable time each day in simple study. I think it's like a beautiful message. This is just a beautiful message, and we'll continue. Just like we're just seeing, like Rabbi Nachman's like head was just like so above this world, but he was able to be in this world. Like he was able to study the simple meaning of the text. He was able to study the aleph. He was able to study the simple lines, the simple understanding of pshat, but able to access the greatest depths of it. But same too with people, right? This didn't allow him, like one may think, oh, he was like in the upper worlds at all times. No, he was dafka in this world with his students, having conversations, helping them, being there for them, being involved, being active, being creative. It's beautiful. Wow, beautiful, beautiful thing. And we see still he would spend considerable time each day in simple study. All right. With all this, the Rebbe was never pressed for time. He was always calm and relaxed, and we know this how? From Hibodadut. Obviously, we don't know this much more to Rabbeinu. It is absolutely impossible to describe his unique serenity. Because of it, he had time for all things. This is huge. This is huge Torah. Wow. Because of this relaxation and this calm, he had time for all things. Wow. The Rebbe always studied quickly. In a single hour, he could go through several pages of the Shulchan Aruch, including all of its major commentaries. On a page of Orach Chaim, he would include the Taz, Magen Avram, the Be'er HaGola, the Pri Chadash, with the Teres Canaan. Wow, great to see Moshe and Kira. He would study their counterparts with all the other sections of the Shulchan Aruch. He once told us that in the morning, between the time the congregation began to assemble and the time they began worshiping, he would go through at least 4 pages of the Shulchan Aruch. This was true of everything the Rebbe studied, whether it was the Talmud or the Shulchan Aruch. The Rebbe literally flew through the pages. And just to give you, first of all, it's so fitting that Moshe came on. And we'll get to that in a second, why it's so fitting. And we see the letters in the background on the screen. And we all know he's about the Aleph. But we also know that I experienced this exact version in this path of learning Torah, right? Flying through it, right? Being simple, not being so sophisticated, right? If Rabbeinu says if you're stuck on something, right, and you're just taking much time, just pondering about it, not really getting anywhere, he says, go weiter, keep going. You'll return back to it at some point. You'll go through that next cycle or that chazara, and you'll get it. It'll make sense to you a little bit more and more. And this was the path here, the perspective is the more we go through these cycles of learning, right? We all know the simple meaning. That was the first time Rabbeinu went through the Shulchan Aruch. Simple meaning, right? The next time he went through the Shulchan Aruch, right, the cycle was the Talmudic law, tracing it back to each halacha. And the third time was the Kabbalistic meaning, right? In the upper worlds, the whole thing. Right, so this is Daf Yomi, right? This is Daf Yomi. We're talking about Daf Yomi over here. But anyways, one time I went with Rav Dani Eisenstock and we learned Masechet Yoma for seven straight daf. Seven straight daf. We just read through the words, Breslov style. Anyways, I thought I would share that with you. Okay. However, this is where it gets huge. And this is why Moshe came out at the right time. We all know it's the 3 weeks. And we all know Rav Yossi Zagatinsky. Actually, before we get to Rav Yossi Zagatinsky, everyone join Tears of Joy. Tears of Joy. The 3 weeks, we got to connect to Yerushalayim. We got to connect to the Beis Hamikdash. We got to connect to Moshe's Shifts Torah. It's the best of the best. So we all know it's the 3 weeks. Moshe is allowing us to become aware of that and allow us to dive in. And I came across this shir that just came on my feed. Baruch Hashem, Chevra. We go on YouTube. We have LeBron James at the Drew League on one video, right, in the recommended section. And then you have Rav Yossi Zagatinsky right under it. It's Gewalt. It's amazing. So I watched his videos from a year or two ago, and it's entering into the 3 weeks, right, in the dark period. And it's all about Rabbi Akiva. It's all about Chassan and Kala. It's all about Simchas Libo. It's all about just being in that marriage, being in that relationship with the Ribono Shalom, right, and not being a guest at a wedding. So he talks about a lot about Rabbi Akiva. And here, someone sent to me the life of Rabbi Akiva compiled by Sefaria. There's like all the Gemara sources here and Midrashic sources that are compiled into one to make the story. And there's definitely books out there that I want to get. I think The Orchard, Ellie Weinstein recommended to me, The Orchard. If you have The Orchard. Okay, so Chaver, sorry I was procrastinating. Let's go back there. Have fun, Achi. Have fun. What were Rabbi Akiva's beginnings? And everyone, let's look at Moshe Schiff in his background. What were Rabbi Akiva's beginnings? Or should we say Akiva's? It says Akiva's beginnings. It is said, up to the age of 40, he had not yet studied a thing. A thing! One time, while standing by the mouth of a well in Lida, he inquired, who hollowed out this stone? And was told, Akiva, haven't you read that water wears away stone? Oh, we know this Torah from Rabbeinu. It was water falling upon it constantly, day after day. At that, Rabbi Akiva asked himself, is my mind harder than this stone? I will go and study at least one section of Torah. It's Rabbi Akiva. He went directly to his schoolhouse, and he and his son began reading from a child's tablet. From a child's tablet. This is the first piece of Torah he's going through, Chevra. At the age of 40, a child's tablet. Rabbi Akiva took hold of one end of the tablet and his son of the other end. And the teacher wrote down Aleph and Bet for him. And he learned them, Aleph to Tav. And he learned them, the book of Vayikra, and he learned it. He went on studying until he learned the whole Torah. And then he went and sat before Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua. My masters, he said, reveal the sense of Mishnah to me. When they told him one halacha, he went off to reason with himself. This Aleph, he wondered, what was it written for? That Bet, what was it written for? This teaching, what was it uttered for? He kept coming back, kept inquiring of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua until he reduced his teachers to silence. Chavra, this is the deepest Torah in the world. Mamash tears while reading this. We all know Samson tells us to return to the Aleph. It's all about the Aleph. It's all about that one letter. It's all about the children books. It's all about the children books. It's all about the children books. Chavra, we should never be. Rabbeinu gives us the Seder here. He gives us the Seder, and we'll get more into it in part 2, part 3, Bezrat Hashem. But just going weiter, asking questions, not worrying about the person next to you who's maybe understanding the Aleph or the Bet or the Gimel and feeling that pressure. Rabbi Akiva was 40 when he learned his first piece of Torah from a children's tablet. Didn't know Aleph, but he asked what Aleph was. He asked the significance of Aleph. He asked what the significance of the teachings were. Chaver Bezrat Hashem, we should have that humility. We should have that bittul. We should know that we don't know, and therefore we know. Bezrat Hashem, Chaver, fired up. We should hopefully merit to go through the Shulchan Aruch many times. Understand the simple meaning, understand the Torah law, understanding the Kabbalistic meanings, and with the rest of the Torah. Questions, comments, please feel free.
Everybody knows. Not only did Rabbi Akiva not study Torah for the first 4 years, but he was adamantly against the rabbinate. To the extent of, we thought Reish Lakish was bad. Instead of Rabbi Akiva, I believe. He said, bring me a rabbi and I'll bash his teeth in. We just see from this, and we know the story of how he became such a great Rebbe. We see from this truly to understand what it means to go. This time is, I'm going to share this later in the group. This time of darkness has the greatest potential for light. And we see that with Rabbi Akiva. And really, Rabbi Akiva is the deepest, because we know in terms of Rabbi Akiva, he was the Rebbe that laughed when he saw the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. Because just like he was the Rebbe that was in such a dark hole that he said, I'll bash a rabbi's teeth in if you bring him to me, it's the same Rabbi Akiva, that great darkness that might have felt in that moment, contains the ability for the greatest light, the greatest ability to laugh and say, yes, like it's going to happen. The Mashiach is going to come. The prophecy is going to be fulfilled. Well, I don't know what else to say here. Just this is important to know.
It's important to just know you. It's important to just know you.
You're right. You're right. It's important to know the self. You're correct.
Yeah. We should all know the self. Kaslasi, indescribable.
No words. No words, John.
No words. Let's fire it up, Trevor. We should all be healthy, happy, and successful, and be able to just know one, to just know Aleph, to just know beginnings, and to just know the half of the Reichak Hamocha. Trevor, have a great night. Be well. Fire it up. Recover Shabbos Kodesh.